Good evening. Welcome to the San Francisco Police Department's Medal of Valor ceremony. I ask that you please rise and remain standing for the presentation and posting of the colors by the San Francisco Police Department's Color Guard and the singing of the national anthem by Miss Molly McFadden Rinaldi.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you for attending tonight's Medal of Valor ceremony. I am Sergeant Stacy Youngblood, Secretary of the Police Commission. This year, we are celebrating the 175th anniversary of the San Francisco Police Department. In celebration, we're going to do something a little bit different for tonight's ceremony. We are going to see videos about each incident, which will be comprised of body-worn camera footage and audio from dispatch. We hope this will give you a little insight into why these officers are being honored tonight, for their heroism and their bravery. While the material is not graphic in nature, the content includes materials which may be upsetting for some viewers. But before we get started, I would first like to acknowledge the people behind the scenes who helped make this Medal of Valor ceremony possible. First, thank you to the San Francisco Scottish Rite Masonic Center for their continued generosity in allowing us to use their facility. Next, I would like to thank the members of the department who were instrumental in organizing this ceremony. Commission staff, Captain Chris Canning, Captain Jack Hart, and a very special thank you to Evan Borders from our Media Relations Unit, who put together each of the videos you are going to see tonight. And finally, thank you to Molly McFadden Rinaldi for singing the national anthem, and to our color guard. They all deserve a round of applause. We are here tonight to honor a select group of officers in the San Francisco Police Department who engaged in exceptional acts of bravery and displayed courage that far exceeded what was required of them. In each of the videos you're about to watch, the commanding officers will explain why they are being honored tonight. But before we
To all of the award recipients tonight, their families, friends, and other dignitaries here present this evening. I'm Cedon Clay. I'm the newest member of the San Francisco Police Commission, and one of the commissioners who is honored with the opportunity to serve on the final review panel of the nominations for these officers' exceptional acts of courage. As you already heard during the award presentation, there will be videos in which you will get to see the circumstances of these exceptional and courageous acts. No action of any on-duty San Francisco police officer is de minimis. Daily, San Francisco police officers put their lives on the line through their dedication and hard work to protect and serve the public. However, there are times their actions are so extraordinary in the normal course of duty that they are recognized and deemed acts of valor. Multiple panels consisting of the peers of these officers conducted a rigorous process of evaluating and reviewing many acts and actions which have qualified as extraordinary through the years and year. The actions that we celebrate tonight are those chosen and deemed acts of valor. There is nothing random about the selection of each act and each individual receiving the award tonight, except for the fact that these officers were present on the date, time, and place of the acts committed that required their extraordinary actions in which they are receiving this award. Medal of Valor recipients, we salute you. On behalf of the San Francisco Police Commission, I thank you for your service to our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Clay. And now, Chief of Police Bill Scott would like to say a few words. Chief Scott.
Good evening. To the families, friends, community members that are here, thank you so much for being here. To our commissioners, thank you for being here. As Commissioner Clay said, this process of selecting the people who will get honored tonight, our members who will get honored tonight, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of thought, a lot of work. The captains have to write these commendations up or these submissions up, and then the entire command staff basically reviews and votes on it. It is a process, but I'm honored to be here because when we see the work that our members do day in and day out, it is simply amazing. You know, Valor is more than just the act of bravery. Valor is taking the risk to protect and serve our communities day in and day out, and knowing that that risk exists, sometimes at great physical harm to ourselves. And our members do this day in and day out. And I know the members here are the ones that we will be here to celebrate and honor tonight, but we have a whole lot of other officers that do this day in and day out that aren't here tonight, and they are deserving of our thanks and praise as well. But let me get to the people here tonight. This format that you see tonight is different, and I think, Captain, I'm going to give you credit because he started it all, is Captain Chris Canning, who probably doesn't want me to say this, but you know, we've had videos for 7 years now, a little bit more, and we've never incorporated videos into this presentation. And when Captain Canning, and I think there might have been one or two others that did this during this selection process this year for the Medal of Valor, basically he opened the door to our thinking of saying, why don't we do this for this presentation? And it really, I think, makes this presentation a higher level of what we've done in the past. Not that what we've done in the past was not good, but this is at a different level. So Chris, thank you for that ingenuity. And I'm going to close with just a couple of things. You know, there's, as Stacy, as Sergeant Youngblood said, there's a whole lot of people to thank for putting this on tonight. There's a lot of work that goes into this, but I know he's not going to give himself any credit. I just want to say thank you to Sergeant Stacy Youngblood. Because there is a lot of work to put this on. Also in the audience, we have retired Sergeant Rachel Kilshaw. Where's Rachel? Please, she's in the back here. Raise your hand, Rachel. And just a quick story, you know, we had to change our general order to really refine this process. It took several years to do that, but Rachel, who was not retired at that time, really led the way to put this general order into motion, to do all the research needed to make it as fair as we could make it, and actually get this program going again, because we went a couple years without even having a Medal of Valor ceremony, and I'm so glad that Rachel, and she had some help, but she was leading the way for that, so thank you, Rachel. So with that, I'll just close by saying this. To the officers and your families, but all the officers and our members that are here to receive awards tonight, your work is simply outstanding, and I'm here representing this department as your Chief of Police, but I could not be prouder of you and what you have done to be here tonight, because you'll see the stories in a minute. It is simply outstanding work. So you represent the best of this department in this city, and we are very proud to honor you tonight. Keep doing what you do, because this city needs you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Chief Scott. And now we present the incident from January 17th, 2023, which took place in the Richmond District and honors Officer Sergey Kravuka and Officer Eduardo Villanueva.
San Francisco 911, what's the exact location of the emergency?
California and 9th, there's some guys drilling a muffler on a Prius.
During the early morning hours of January 17th, 2023, at approximately 4:22 a.m., officers Krivoruka and Villanueva were dispatched regarding a report of a catalytic converter theft in progress.
And how do you know that they're stealing? Like, what are they doing?
I could hear it, and I yelled at them. I said, I'm calling the cops.
At the intersection of Arguello Boulevard and Fulton Street, Officer Krivoruka and Officer Villanueva encountered the suspect vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed, fleeing the scene.
We're at Stanley and Anza.
Officer Krivoruka and Officer Villanueva attempted to make a traffic stop of the vehicle, but the vehicle hit a concrete median and was disabled. Suspects exited the vehicle and fled on foot.
Get over here!
During the foot pursuit, one suspect produced a firearm and fired several rounds at the pursuing officers.
White shirt with dark pants. Fire! Stop fire! Stop fire! Stop fire! Stop fire! Stop fire!
The officers in the middle of the foot pursuit were unable to get cover or concealment as they were following the suspect in the middle of the roadway.
Drop the gun! He just threw it!
The suspect fired all the rounds in his gun, threw it on the ground, and continued to flee.
Please stop!
Despite the obvious danger, the officers continued their pursuit of the suspect.
Right there! Stop him! Stop him! Stop him right there!
Officers Crivo, Ruca, and Villanueva coordinated a citywide response from supporting units. A perimeter was established, an arrest was made, evidence was gathered, and the firearm was seized from the scene.
38 special.
The prosecution regarding the case is ongoing.
George, one forward. We're okay.
Officer Crivo-Ruca and Officer Villanueva showed outstanding bravery as they attempted to apprehend an armed, violent felon. The officers risked their lives to protect our community from a dangerous felon, in spite of being shot at by this suspect. The prosecution in the case is ongoing. I am proud to work with Officer Crivo-Ruca and Officer Villanueva. In San Francisco and the Richmond District is safer because of their efforts. For their actions, Officer Crivo-Ruca and Officer Villanueva have been awarded the Silver Medal of Valor. Officers, please join me on the stage to receive your award from Chief Scott.
All right, next we have the incident from April 8th, 2023, which took place in the Northern District and honors Officer Eureka Monroe and Officer Frank Chenoa.
Someone used a stick to break the window downstairs in my home, and they broke inside, and I saw them enter the house.
Officers Eureka Monroe and Frank Chenoa were dispatched to a 603, a person breaking in, call for service at 0927 hours.
Your son is in here still.
Relax.
My wife is on the second floor.
Okay.
Upstairs.
The officers then met with the owner, who came downstairs and told them that the suspect was in their house and so was his sleeping wife.
San Francisco Police!
Without waiting for backup, Officers Monroe and Chenoa entered the home for the safety of the wife. They drew their firearms and tactically performed.
All right.
They found the spouse sleeping on the second floor. They told her to leave the premises via the area they had already searched. They continued their search of the house and found no one inside.
All right, it's clear.
The officers were able to view the Nest camera, which showed a depiction of the suspect, which they broadcast to dispatch.
Sorry to alarm you. I was just trying to hurry up and
Alarm
get
me,
you
man.
out.
No.
Because,
That's exactly what I was hoping you would do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Backup officers started to arrive on scene, and a perimeter was established. The original caller met with Officer Monroe and told her that he had just come face to face with the suspect while he was in his home.
It's the top one. He's on the top third floor. Back staircase. He's locked up there. This building just made contact with him.
The suspect was now utilizing the rooftops and attempting to gain entrance into other homes. Officers Peterson, Nazer, and Williams gained access to the rooftops and located the suspect.
Hey!
Look, man, just walk over where you came
Okay, we
from.
got
I
it.
want to make sure you're okay, all right?
Officers gave verbal commands to the suspect, who was now shirtless and attempting to escape. He refused to follow their instructions.
Why you up there, man?
Hey, just come towards us. You're up here. People are concerned about you, man.
The suspect made his way downstairs through a tradesman's entrance. Officers followed his movements at a distance, and Officer Peterson informed the perimeter officers via PIC radio that the suspect was exiting the premise on the Greenwich Street side.
Hey, come on out, man. Come on, I got him. Come on out, man. Hey, come on out, man. Come on out. Let's put an end to this. There's people right there. He's coming out the front garage on the Greenwich.
The suspect was shirtless, and no one observed him with any weapons. The suspect exited the building onto the sidewalk, where he came face to face with Officer Chenoweth. He saw Officer Chenoweth walk towards him, and he immediately raised his right hand above his head, where he now held a knife. The suspect slashed downward with the knife at radio that the suspect had a knife.
What's down on Greenwich? He has a knife in his
Pixley Street, as he was now starting to run slower. They pulled up next to him.
There's someone breaking into my apartment with a hammer. They're hammering through the wall.
On October 5th, 2020, at about 03:29 hours, officers responded to a call that a man was breaking into an apartment.
Central 1 car, we have an A priority 594. The RP hears someone hammering outside the wall or the RP's apartment.
The victim stated that the suspect first attempted to open his front door, but when he was unable to, the suspect began using a metallic hammer to break through the apartment wall.
Suspect description is either a WMA or a BMA, wearing a blue plaid shirt, blue jeans, and a white face mask.
The 6 officers were unable to initially get access to the apartment, but they were finally able to get another resident to open the front door.
Red light, let's legal, let's legal.
red light, let's legal. Let's see what call out,
San Francisco police, if you're in there, come out with your hands up. Come out with your hands up. Come out with your hands up.
The victim then opened his apartment door and yelled for the suspect to leave, just as the police gained access to the building and was able to engage with the suspect.
Let me see.
The suspect did not comply with.
What was that? Okay. Just get compliance with us. All right, do we have a deal? Dude, I won't shoot you with the beanbag if you just listen to me.
The suspect threw it at Officer Banos Mendez, who showed great restraint, as the suspect then jumped into the adjacent light well.
It's nice and simple, bud. He's taking off, he's going.
The suspect made his way down the light well on a pole to the bottom floor of the apartment building. The officers quickly changed tactics and decided to make a perimeter and then tried to contain and find the suspect.
We are posted on Sprout. Go 33. He's running towards Sproul. I think he's got a knife.
Officers relayed this new information to other officers and gave chase through the city streets.
Get on the ground!
Officers were then able to surround the suspect at Sproul at Clay Street.
He's got a knife!
Creating time and distance, but also recognizing a blue-on-blue situation, officers began taking cover behind vehicles. The suspect then began walking toward officers. Officer Banos Mendez tried to deploy ERW rounds at the suspect to stop the threat, but his less lethal shotgun malfunctioned.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
As an officer continued to fall back to cover and create time and distance from the armed suspect, the officer fell. With the officer being vulnerable on the ground and the suspect closing the distance, Officer Banos Mendez knew that officers could not use deadly force due to the blue-on-blue situation. Officer Banos Mendez quickly fixed the malfunction on ZRW to engage the suspect to protect his fellow officer. Officer Banos Mendez deployed 3 less lethal rounds, striking the suspect once, protecting the officer from the suspect from inflicting any serious or deadly injuries.
Get on the ground!
The suspect was then taken into custody.
Hey, everyone good? You guys good?
Officer Banos Mendez demonstrated great awareness, tenacity, and fortitude in identifying the situation and the need for him to use his less lethal weapon. Additionally, Officer Banos Mendez, under pressure, cleared a malfunction and in the defense of his fellow officers and understanding the situation, deployed the ERW rounds at the suspect, ultimately leading to stopping the threat and the suspect being put under arrest. For his bravery and outstanding performance under tremendous pressure, I am proud to award Officer Mario Bandes Mendez the Medal of Valor.
For his actions, Officer Mario Banos Menendez has been awarded the Silver Medal of Valor. Officer Menendez, please join us on stage to receive your award from Chief Scott.
Next, we present the incident from August 31st, 2023, which took place in the Tenderloin District and honors Officer Dexter Cato and Officer Angel Navarez.
The suspect vehicle had on the left side of the license plate under the tail light an orange sticker that read E as in Edward 2022, Edward 2022. For prior 211s, 2 black semi-auto guns were seen.
On August 31st, 2023, at approximately 21:38 hours, dispatch broadcast a robbery with a firearm vehicle where 2 black semi-automatic firearms were seen by the victims.
And black Infiniti, it's going to be a 4-door.
The suspect vehicle was described as a black 4-door Infiniti with a distinctive orange sticker under one of the taillights. At approximately 21:47 hours, Officer Cato and Officer Navarez were driving in the area of Golden Gate and Jones Street when they observed a black 4-door Infiniti with an orange sticker under the driver's side taillight.
Golden Gate, just past Leavenworth, we have a 221 black Infiniti. Looks like it's swapped plates, but it still has an E2022 sticker on it. We'll take another unit.
Although the license plate on the Infiniti was different from the robbery, Cato and Navarez recognized that the vehicle's license plate had most likely been swapped due to being used in a violent crime earlier.
Yeah, John 14 Edward, it's taking off on us now. We're going to be going eastbound Market Street from Jones. We're going to be in pursuit.
Cato, who was driving their March Patrol vehicle, engaged in a vehicle pursuit with the suspect vehicle. Navarez broadcasted the locations, directions, speeds, and traffic conditions during the vehicle pursuit.
Yeah, John 14 Edward, and the number 1 lane speeds are about 90 miles an hour. Still both in control.
The pursuit terminated in Oakland at 3rd and International Boulevard, where the suspect vehicle's front right tire blew up and the vehicle collided with the side of a brick building.
Footbill.
3 suspects exited the suspect vehicle and attempted to flee on foot. Cato engaged in a foot pursuit with the driver of the suspect vehicle while giving him multiple commands to stop.
Stop running! Police department!
Cato eventually closed the distance between him and the driver and was able to push him from behind, causing him to fall, where Cato was able to take him into custody. Navarez, meanwhile, engaged in a foot pursuit with the front passenger of the robbery vehicle. The front passenger reached towards his waistband in a motion which seemed to indicate he was concealing a weapon as he ran. Navarez gave him commands to show his hands as the suspect continued to flee on foot through a parking lot. The suspect attempted to jump over a fence but fell onto a pile of boxes, at which point Navarez and other backup officers were able to take him into custody.
Show me your head! Show us your head! Show me your head!
They found a black semi-automatic handgun immediately located on top of the boxes where the suspect had fallen.
Okay, there's a 221 right here.
Got it.
Cato and Never. It had been stolen out of San Francisco. Neverez conducted an inventory search and located 2 additional AR pistols, multiple license plate, including the license plate used in the robbery, and other property which had been reported stolen in another robbery and another auto burglary. Cato and Neverez risked their lives to capture armed robbery suspects, remove multiple firearms from these felons, and they should be awarded medals of valor for their outstanding work. Thank you. For their actions, Officers Cato and Officer Neverez have been awarded the Silver Medal of Valor. Officer Cato, Officer Neverez, please join Chief Bill Scott to receive your award. Thank you.
Next, we present the incident from August 28, 2023, which took place in the Tenderloin District and honors Sergeant Ricardo Ramirez, Sergeant Brian Hopkins, Sergeant Herman Ludke, Officer Russell.
San Francisco 911.
Yeah, I got a guy with a knife out here threatening people. He's got a big knife, and somebody with pepper tried to pepper spray him. He's on the sidewalk. He's got the knife out, and he's threatening people walking by.
Hey, put the knife down.
On August 28, 2023, a citizen called 911 to report a man was standing on the sidewalk waving a knife.
He's got a big old knife, and he's waving at people on the sidewalk.
The 911 caller described the knife as a hunting knife over a foot long, and that the man was yelling and screaming at people.
Can we have you just put the knife down and then I can come talk with you?
As the experienced Tenderloin officers, in accordance with their CIT training, Officers Lucia and Ortega began talking with the man to try to de-escalate the situation.
You can sit down, or you can talk to us, but you can't leave.
We just want to get you some help. Hey, you can take your knife with you. We just want to get you to the hospital.
To supervise the CIT team, Sergeant Ramirez positioned himself with Officer Lucia and Officer Ortega as they attempted to talk with the man, even though this meant he too was exposed to attack.
Tell him he can keep his knife. He just has to keep his hands up.
You can keep your knife, man, but can you just get your hands up so we can come make sure everything's okay with you?
Sergeant Lukey arrived on the scene and began supervising the outer perimeter.
Yeah, we got shields.
As he was organizing officers to get shields, the man began to pick up his personal items and started pacing north and south on the sidewalk. At this point, the knife man began walking rapidly to the south on Jones Street towards officers holding a perimeter. The man now was charging at full speed, waving the knife and using a milk crate as a shield. Officer O'Brien, confronted by deadly threat to himself and the public, did not retreat, but he stood his ground and fired his ERIW at the man until he was out of rounds, with no effect. The man continued charging forward directly at O'Brien, who was out of ERIW rounds. Officer Tien, the less lethal cover officer for the arrest team, also saw the man was charging towards O'Brien. He moved towards the man and fired his ERIW at the man with no effect. The man O'Brien. As the knifeman charged past them, Officer Lucia and Artiga saw the man was charging directly at Officer O'Brien and that the less lethal rounds had not stopped him. They assessed the situation and fired their department-issued pistols to stop the knifeman from attacking O'Brien. The man fell to the ground, but still had the knife in his hand. Hopkins and Sergeant Lukey determined that they had a position of advantage over the man. Even though he was moving and still had the knife, they determined the need to apprehend him outweighed the risk and closed in on the man.
Hey, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here.
The heroic actions of these officers and their supervising sergeants displayed on the evening of August 28, 2023, a face of danger. The city of San Francisco should be proud to have these officers and sergeants protecting and serving her citizens. Their actions bring great credit upon themselves, Tenderloin Station, the San Francisco Police Department, and the highest traditions of police service. For that, I congratulate and sincerely thank you. For their actions, Sergeant Ramirez, Hopkins, Lukey, Officers Lucia, Artiga, O'Brien, and Tien have been awarded the Silver Medal of Valor. Please join me on the stage to receive your award from Chief Scott. Thank you.
Now we present the incident from October 29th, 2023, which took place in the Central District, and honors Officers Sam Ewan, Officer Juan Lara Jr., and Officer Brian Nuremberg.
There has been an assault of a prisoner, and the assailant has escaped, and he crossed Columbus.
On Sunday, October 29th, 2023, at 17:52 hours, Officers Sam Ewan, Juan Lara, and Brian Nuremberg responded to St. Peter's and Paul Church, where an attempted robbery and aggravated assault had just occurred.
A very large guy hit a young man, and the young man is injured now.
Witnesses followed the suspect to his parked BMW. As the suspect was driving away, Officer Ewan arrived on scene, and witnesses immediately pointed to the BMW. Officer Ewan advised other officers and caught up to the BMW as it drove away. Officers Laura and Nuremberg soon after arrived on scene, and they began to coordinate a high-risk traffic stop on the suspect near Jones and Jackson Street. Officer Ewan activated his red-blue emergency lights, sirens, and utilized his PA system to tell the driver to pull over. At that moment, it appeared that the suspect was submitting to the officer's lawful commands by slowing down. Unbeknownst to the officers, the suspect was baiting the officers to get closer.
Stay back there, stay back there.
The suspect then threw out a large improvised explosive device, an IED, at them from his driver's side window, where it landed between their two vehicles. Officer Ewan, Laura, and Nuremberg described feeling the blast pressure from the bomb as it exploded. Officers immediately realized that the suspect wasn't a typical robbery suspect. Attempting to rob someone at a church and having an IED, officers could not discount that the suspect could be a fanatic and the church a target. The officers realized that they needed to apprehend the suspect because of the terror and unprecedented harm he could cause to the public and other police officers. The pursuit ascended and descended Nob Hill in the heart of San Francisco. Officers Ewan and Laura tactically chased the suspect through some of the busiest streets in the city, while Officer Nuremberg maintained continuous broadcasts of the pursuit in flawless fashion.
Approaching Hyde, now it's going to go southbound Hyde.
When the pursuit reached Hyde and O'Farrell Street, the suspect held out another IED at the driver's side window and ran a red light before lighting and throwing the second IED at the intersection of 8th Street and Mission Street.
We're going to be southbound through Mission Street. Oh, he just threw another bomb. He just blew up on Mission.
Shocked but composed, the officers understood the risks of their lives and the lives of others, and willfully continued the pursuit as the suspect entered eastbound Interstate 80.
We still have eyes. We are about 65 miles an hour. Eastbound 80 still.
At times during the pursuit, the officers could see the suspect reaching for something in the passenger side floorboard as he periodically swerved and slowed down. The officers believed that the suspect had an additional IED and prepared themselves for the possibility of another IED being used against them, or the possibility they would have to use deadly force.
And please notify CHP if they do set up spikes. He does have explosives.
Dispatch relaying this vital information to the California Highway Patrol, who caught up to the pursuing officers near Walnut Creek to go over the pursuit.
We've had two thrown at us behind him. This guy needs to be stopped. We are going to be taking the Broadway exit.
The pursuit continued for a few more miles until the suspect's tire was damaged, crippling the BMW. The suspect then exited his vehicle and immediately surrendered. A search of the BMW by the bomb squad located and destroyed a third IED found on the front passenger side floorboard, confirming the officers' belief that the suspect was trying to use another IED against them. For their bravery and outstanding performance under a once-in-a-lifetime incident, I am proud to award Officer Sam Ewan, Officer Juan Lara, and Brian Nuremberg the Gold Medal of Valor.
So proud of these three men who at the time were assigned to Central Station and remain vital parts of our Central Station deployment. So proud of you guys. For their actions, Officer Sammy Ewan, Officer Johnny Lara and Officer Brian Nurberg have been awarded the Gold Medal of Valor. Please join me on stage to receive your award from Chief Bill Scott.
All right, if I can ask all of tonight's recipients to please stand and face the audience. I present to you the heroes and the awardees for tonight's San Francisco Medal of Valor Awards ceremony. Thank you. You can take your seats. All right, and now Chief Scott would like to make some final remarks, and then we have some final announcements.
Thank you, Sergeant Youngblood. What do you think? You know, for those of us that sit here and listen in awe of some of what we just saw, you know, a lot of us have been around this place a long time and around this profession, 35 years for me. But I got to tell you, this type of work still really just fires me up. And it makes me so proud to be associated with these officers. I can't even describe it. So thank you. Thank you for your work. So just one thing I forgot to thank Sergeant Sandra Reynolds, who's telling me no. But she was a part of making this happen as well. And I don't know if Christine is here. Is Christine here? Where is she? Oh, Christine, seeing from the Commissioner's office, also is a part of this work. So, and then just one more to thank, and that's Risa Tom, who actually came out of retirement to help this. Thank you. So again, thank you all for being here. We really, really appreciate your support, and great job. Really great job.
Thank you to everyone who came out here tonight to honor these courageous officers, and a special thanks to their families and friends who support these officers every single day. After the retrieval of the colors, the chief, the command staff, and the police commission will be available for photos with the award recipients and their family and their friends. If you could please rise for the retrieval of the colors. Thank you. Please be seated. On behalf of the Police Commission, Chief Scott, the command staff, and the commanding officers of these brave individuals of the San Francisco Police Department, thank you for joining us tonight, and please join us for some refreshments in the banquet room to your right. And if I could have the recipients, please join us on the stage here for a photo with the command staff as well, and Chief Scott. Thank you very much.